Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd get an update video on the projects that are going on. It's been a few days for a video from me. Sorry about that. I've been really busy with stuff and then some Christmas stuff and some maintenance problems at the house and things like that. But things are moving along. I've got the other carrier, the small carrier, which is going to be the MCRN-Draper. Um, it's almost done, almost done. I've got a few more things. I've been working on some rooms, and obviously I missed a few textures here and there, but I'm still kind of working out a lot of details and little things. I started working on the LCDs, and I think I got all the lights on the ship on sensors right now, but I need to do some more LCDs, and I've been kind of messing with a multicolor type of display that can kind of project over wall areas, I guess. Like in this case, I have it out from the window by a little bit because the window kind of screws it up on the edges. But there would be other areas inside the ship that would have that kind of issue as well. If you've been following this ship too, I have been getting a lot of other areas of it done up. These different crew rooms and things over on this side. And let me move across the hangar here up into this area, which actually has a bit of a hospital. Now, I've got all the lighting actually tuned for nighttime as well, but I'm just kind of showing you in the daytime right now. And I plan on doing some more tweaks to these areas yet too, so it's not fully finalized on things. I usually do like a round of final detail and try to add in anything and everything I can to make it look better once I get the rooms generally laid out kind of in the condition that you see that they're in now. Um, but yeah, the ship has quite a few spaces on it, and there's another room over here too, which is kind of a little recreation room to chill and do whatever. But these areas on the ship are pretty small in comparison. Most of the ship is all about function. There's not a lot of fluff on it. The bridge is under work right now. This particular bridge, though, I'm really limited on what I can do with blocks and things like that. It's one of those situations that has a single floor bridge or I'm sorry, single block row height bridge, and I can't really modify the top blocks or anything around it, so I'm gonna have to try to make do with what's there. And the alt would be to make the bridge bigger, but with the profile of the ship and stuff, if I made that taller, I just think it would look odd. Not saying I couldn't redesign the bridge completely and try to come up with something else that fits. Um, but anyway, this ship is almost done. I want to put a few more hours into it before I release it yet, though, just to try to get everything, a little tweaks and fixes and a little bit of testing and some more switches and some LCDs and all that fun stuff. But I should have that out soon. And I'm going to start saying, I'm going to stop saying when I'm going to release stuff too, because I even blew it on this one. I did say I was going to try to get this out Sunday. I didn't make that. It's not quite ready yet. And I want to make sure that everything's right before I release it and take my time and whatnot. I feel like I was kind of trying to rush things out a little bit, and I don't really want to do that. So on the big carrier, lots has been done to this. I know it doesn't look like, there's a whole lot of body texturing to be done yet, but some more areas have been textured on the hull of the ship. But most of the work has been done on the interior. You can kind of see like this front section now is all lined up pretty good. But I gotta keep on working my way across the ship. I kind of finished up the center mass area with texturing and kind of took that all the way to the back portion of the ship. So you can kind of see where that's at right now. On last video, I think I showed you engineering, and I think I built out a small room below deck that was kind of a wasted space, I guess, but now it's some kind of room. Some other areas that have been set up. Some of the hallways here and there, like going to engineering, has been done up. Tell you what, I'm gonna put it in mood lighting now. Engineering, I think I did a couple more tweaks to it, but more or less it's mostly unchanged right now. Now, I don't want to show you all the areas that other authors are doing because a lot of them are work in progress yet. Oh, now I'm too dark. Well, let's go to some new areas here. Start with, this is the crafting room, and it's right off the hangar, and it's actually got a, I'll have to figure out how I want the mechanism for this to work, but it's actually got like a little guarded door that you can close it off from the hangar if you really want to. But in the crafting area, essentially you have 8 320K storage areas. It has 3 advanced constructors on this side, and I actually painted those orange. And then it has 3 large constructors on the other side. And then, of course, a couple fridges, an armor locker, armor repair, some of that other stuff that you just kind of want nearby in the crafting area. And also a ammo bay, which I didn't get a sign up for, it looks like, yet. But right now the ammo's set at 88,000, so I think that's plenty, if not too much, but not so worried about it. Now, taking a look at the CPU, even after the storage was put in and a lot of other areas have been done on the ship, it's not bad. It really isn't bad. There's still a lot of wiggle room. My worst case scenario is it's possible, but I don't know exactly because the flight model got kind of changed and ships don't quite fly how they were flying, and this ship still moves in space in turns. It just turns fairly slowly right now, so it's possible I might need to add some more maneuvering thrusters on the ship before it's done. So I don't know exactly yet. Now, moving on through here, this is another area that I've been working on. It's not, again, fully finished, but this is going to be the crew / mess hall section of the ship. Basically, it's got some more angled hallways, and I kind of like the idea of doing angled hallways occasionally. They're not necessarily good for space, I guess, because of the angles, but it's just you don't see angled hallways much in the game. Because well, of space concerns and things like that, and it's harder to do that stuff. The blocks, or in all these areas here, these are going to be different individual crew rooms, and right now they look like crap because nothing's really been done inside these areas, but there's a lot of different crew rooms around this area. These areas kind of dump into other sections of the ship over here too, so it's kind of like a big walk path. Essentially, you can walk all the way around this ship, all the way to the other side of the hangar and back around on a couple different floors. And this room also has some, well, it's unfinished yet with lighting and all that stuff, but you can kind of see what's going on here. And I started kind of working on some other areas that are going to be crew rooms. Some of these floors have been split up into 2 levels, like over here. So out in this back area, I got to build all this out yet, and this is going to be basically all crew areas. Out the front here, even though it says crew area, this is actually going to be like a cargo bay, and T-Rex is actually building a custom CV that's going to fit in this location and link into the ship. So the cargo bay will be kind of below that, and it'll be, I think, pretty fitting for what kind of ship and everything that's going on too. Don't want to show you all the stuff yet though, because there's a lot of sections that are being done by other authors, and I mean, they're not quite finalized yet, but you can see, like in these rooms over here, there's a lot of stuff to look at. And more stuff popping in on the other side over here as well. Trying to think. I thought there were some other areas that I sort of was working on as well, all over the place. But yeah, well, you can kind of see. Yeah, this is the room I did last time. there's some other rooms too. I keep on getting lost in here, and I know this ship's going to need one heck of a directory system to show you how to get around in it. 'Cause there's just so many places, and a lot of unfinished areas yet as well. Um, some of these areas here, a little bit more block work was done with walls, but they're very far from being complete. Like this side zone over here, and then there's another floor above that. There's some engine area or engine room areas being worked on by in different locations by a couple different authors as well. Um, so yeah, there's a lot to do with the ship yet, and it's just going to take a lot of time to do. So I don't want to rush it. It's not going to be out by Christmas. I can almost guarantee that. I can't even finish my part by then. Let alone like all the other authors that are going to be working on areas of it. So I don't know when this is going to be out. I guess it'll be out when it's finished, and everybody's happy with everything. So, and it's going to take some time yet. Just doing like this texturing in this area was probably a good 4 hours of time. Kind of doing that. It's very monotonous work. I kind of dread it, but when it's all textured, I do like it. I think it definitely gives you a pretty nice looking stuff. You know, what I really like about the Martians, and I think I said this before too, is the color scheme. I like having these lines, I guess, where it goes bold to dark and back and forth with some gray kind of mixed in the mix here and there. A couple different levels of gray. So that's kind of been the whole MCRN theme. Um, so that's about where everything's at right now. Trying to think if there's anything else I'd like to show you at the time. I know there's more areas in the ship to show you too, but I'm just kind of holding off right now until they're done, you know. So, but there's literally probably about another 8 sections in the ship that have been getting interior work done to it right now. And once a lot of that's finalized, basically, like once I do all the block work for the hangar ceiling and these white areas here, then I can actually start like texturing the flight deck and things like that. That's going to take a little bit too. But the ship is it is a massive ship. It is a space carrier only. It's not going to have enough thrust to lift off in the atmosphere. Like I know I'm showing it here in creative, but just flying. But it's not going to be cool for that. It's going to be only in space, but it'll be able to do the maximum amount of speed in space, hopefully with some leeway. Very high size class ship though. Even right now, it's blowing my estimates. I figured it was going to be mid 30s, and right now it's sitting at 37, and there's an awful lot more to do in the ship. So now I'm thinking in the 40s somewhere, hopefully. But it is good to know, though, that with the current tier systems with CPUs, at least on CVs, on tier 4, you can build really, really large things. Yeah, so it's not restricted to very small ships that way. Other things I know are restricted much more, SVs and HVs especially, but CVs are pretty open. I still do have a problem too with the tier ratings on CPU. For instance, like this ship, it bugs me because if you look at the CPU on it, it's just over 3 million. But I've got to bring it all the way up to tier 4 because tier 3 cuts off at 1.5 million. And it's kind of a shame because I think this could be a lower tier CV, like a tier 3, but the numbers just don't work. So I'm kind of at the point where it's either you build a small starter-like ship or just you don't care and build as big as you want. There's just like, it's missing a middle ground in my opinion. So, I mean, I would like to see like a tier, maybe 4 million or 3.5 million tier or something around that And then you could use the tier 3 blocks and so on and so forth. Oh, you know, I didn't show you the engineering areas of the ship either. Here, I'll get this over to mood lighting here in a minute. And so the engineering is kind of a weird place. There are two sections of it. This section basically has the core, shield, warp core, gravity generator, offline protection, extra fuel tanks, which are kind of down below these blocks here, and some O2 and things like that. But if you traipse across engineering, it goes into another room separated over here, and this room is the generators basically. And also you can see some visible thruster parts. So I'm trying to section it off on all the nasty heat areas. That's why all the guardrails and things like that around there. So yeah, all I can say is this ship is very, very close to being done. But I'm thinking, I know I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say when I'm releasing it. It'll be pretty soon though, probably. Yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this, and I really, really do want to get into some tutorial stuff, and I keep saying that, but I'm so swamped with all these projects that to break away into like maybe start on something different right now is just I got to get these finished up before I move on too much. But anyway, that's just an update for you. Next time I do an update, I'll check with some authors and see where they are and see if I can start showing other parts of the ship that I did not show this time. But yeah, again, this thing is it is an enormous ship. There are so many spaces in it. Actually, if you just do a complete walk around through the interior all the way around the ship, that can take quite a while if you're just walking. There was a lot of talk also about like some kind of transit things or using HVs or something to get around the ship. Here's the problem. This is a space carrier, and HVs don't work in space hardly at all. I mean, they move very slowly. They're kind of wonky. Sometimes getting around, they'll float upwards or float downwards. So HVs just are not going to work for this. SVs can, but you know, some of the SVs are going to be so fast moving around that I guess you could try to make them kind of slow, but that it's kind of dangerous as well. But with a ship like this, though, I could see if I was actually using it in game, I would probably have something like, let me find something here to, what am I doing? Here, I'm just going to spawn in something old a minute. Where do I got that at? Was this it? Yeah, I think this was it. I got light going again, sorry about that. I guess I'm lacking so much of the lights that you can't really see much going on with them yet. But so not that this is ideal, but this is just an idea I had of like small ships that can get around. I didn't convert this one over to CPU tiers either, but it looks like it still works. So I could technically fly something like this all the way across the ship and like land on a different platform. I don't have a lot of platforms to land on yet, but that could be done in that manner with an SV. Just not perfect. It doesn't really have the mechanisms I would really want. I mean, ideally, I think it would be really cool if I could like set up like how it was mentioned, like, you know, a tube and have vehicles that are in those tubes. But in practice, especially in space, it's really hard to set up, and you got to try to spawn in things and line them up, and especially if they're going on rails, like a monorail type of thing, it's tricky, and it's a lot of complexity for the player to even get that working in the ship. And I don't want to make it complicated, you know, so you can just kind of get around and and don't have to read an owner's manual to operate the ship. So there is that. But anyway, you all have a good day. I will be back. I'll be doing some more videos this week, and the rest of them, I think, I might have a quick update on one thing or the other, but I want to get into some more building and showing some things and stuff like that. All right, see you later.